What if a child refusing one spoon of porridge was not really about food? That morning, inside the old wooden house, Tu Na blew gently on a spoon of vegetable porridge and brought it close to Henry's mouth. But Henry turned his face away. Not once, not twice, again. Tu Na did not scold him. She only smiled, the kind of tired smile mothers use when they are trying not to show how weak they feel. Then Henry reached out with his small hand, touched her fingers and whispered, "Mommy, your hand is cold." Tu Na said she had only woken up too early, but Alex, standing near the doorway with his work bag in one hand, looked at her pale face and suddenly felt that something inside their wooden house had been trying to speak all morning. And before the day ended, one small bowl of untouched porridge would lead Alex to change the way they grew food, cared for each other, and protected their home. But first, he had to understand why the quietest warning was the easiest one to miss. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Alex, Tu Na, and Little Henry's Wooden House. Wherever you are watching from today, we hope your day is peaceful, warm, and full of small good things. But stay with us, because this morning, one simple bowl of porridge will reveal something Alex almost missed. And by nightfall, the quiet yard outside their home will no longer feel the same. It turned on when movement passed near the side yard. Alex tested it twice. Henry tested it 10 times, running back and forth until Tu Na told him to stop before he fell. That night, the house settled early. Henry slept after dinner, tired from playing in the yard. Tu Na rested beside him for a while, then came out to fold a few dry clothes. Alex sat at the table, writing notes about the pomelo delivery. The wooden house was quiet, only the sound of insects outside, only the soft creak of old boards when the wind moved. Tu Na walked to the kitchen door and looked at the garden. "The leaves look stronger," she said. Alex looked up. "So do you." She turned away, but he saw her smile. Then the sensor light near the pomelo trees suddenly turned on. White light spread across the side yard. Alex lifted his head. Tu Na froze. At first, they both thought it might be a dog, or a branch moving, or Henry's toy left hanging on the bamboo frame. But then, near the fence, beyond the edge of the new garden corner, a shadow shifted. Tall, still, too close to the house. Alex stood slowly. He did not shout. He did not rush. He raised one hand slightly to tell Tu Na to stay back. Inside the house, Henry slept peacefully, one small hand open beside his cheek. Outside, the sensor light held the shadow in place for one more second. And Alex realized the little changes they had made for comfort had also begun to reveal something else. The house was not only asking to be warmer, it was asking to be protected. He stepped toward the door. Tu Na whispered, "Alex." He looked back at her, calm but serious. "Stay with Henry." Then he turned toward the yard, where the light was still shining near the pomelo trees. And for the first time that night, the quiet around the wooden house no longer felt empty. It felt like a warning. The family must change the pressure. The next few days brought small improvements. Alex moved the water basin to a higher stand so Tu Na would not bend so low. He sharpened the kitchen knife so chopping vegetables took less effort. He repaired the loose screen near the back window so insects would not enter at night. He placed a small solar sensor light near the path between the kitchen and the pomelo trees, because Tu Na sometimes went out after dark to bring in herbs or check drying clothes. Tu Na noticed that one. "Why put a light there?" Alex adjusted the angle. "Because darkness makes small work unsafe." She smiled. "You sound serious." "I am serious." He looked at Henry running near the porch. "Safety is not only for danger, it is for peace." The light was simple, nothing expensive. Ba Tang watched Alex adjust the box corners. "You are calmer today," he said. Alex gave a small smile. Henry ate breakfast. Batang laughed. That is better than signing a contract. Alex looked at the premium pomelos. He thought again about value. A pomelo sold carelessly was just fruit. A pomelo cleaned, sorted, protected, and presented with respect could carry the story of the farm and earn a better price. Maybe family was similar. Love left only as feeling could become tired and invisible. Love turned into systems. A stool near the kitchen, a small garden, a warm cup before chores, a shared washing basin became something people could lean on. That evening, the buyer accepted the first premium samples. The price was better than last season. Everyone at the company was happy. But when Alex came home, he did not first talk about money. He went to the garden corner. Henry pulled him by the hand. "Daddy, look, more leaves." Tu Na stood near the kitchen door, holding a bowl of washed vegetables. Her cheeks had more color than before. Not perfect, not fully recovered, but better, Alex noticed. And this time, he did not almost miss it. For dinner, they cooked soup with a few leaves from Henry's little garden. It was not enough to feed the whole family, just enough to float green and tender in Henry's bowl. Henry looked proud. "I grew this." Tu Na corrected gently. "We grew this." Alex said, "And you ate it." Henry nodded seriously, as if that was his duty to the farm. They laughed again. Outside, evening settled over the yard. The wooden gate cast a long shadow on the ground. The pomelo trees moved slightly in the wind. Somewhere far away, a dog barked once, then stopped. Tu Na washed only the small bowl and spoon. Alex washed the pot. Henry sat on the porch, sleepy, one sandal half off his foot. The house felt calm. Not rich, not perfect, but calmer. And sometimes calm is the first sign that a family is healing. After Henry fell asleep, Tu Na and Alex sat outside for a while. The porch light was on. A cup of warm ginger water rested between Tu Na's hands. Alex looked at them. "Still cold?" Tu Na shook her head. "Warmer." He nodded. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Then Tu Na said softly, "I did not know I was that tired." Alex looked toward the small garden. "I should have seen earlier." Tu Na turned to him. "You were working too." "That is true," Alex said, "but being busy is not the same as being blind." Tu Na did not answer. The night air moved through the yard. Then she said, "When Henry said my hands were cold, I felt ashamed." Alex looked at her. "Why?" "Because he noticed before I admitted it." Alex's voice became gentler. "Children notice what we try to hide. They may not understand, but they feel the weather inside the house." That was the deeper lesson Alex carried from that morning. A child refusing food may not only be about food. A tired mother may not only need encouragement. A small home problem may be showing where the whole rhythm is too heavy. And when one person is always absorbing the pressure, the family must not praise that person for being strong and continue as before. That morning, Alex reheated the porridge himself while Tu Na sat near the stove, warming her hands around the cup. He had changed the porridge too. The greens were chopped smaller, the pumpkin was softer. He added a little egg for strength and removed the tough stems. Henry looked suspicious at first. Then he ate. One spoon, then another. Tu Na watched without speaking. Sometimes progress in a family is not a big celebration. Sometimes it is just a child eating 3 more spoons while his mother's hands slowly become warm again. Later that day, Alex made a simple chart and pinned it near the kitchen wall. Not a strict schedule, just 3 small lines: Henry's meals, Tu Na's rest, garden care. Under Henry's meals, he wrote, soft food, small pieces, no tough stems. Under Tu Na's rest, he wrote, morning tea before chores, no cold washing before breakfast, lie down when Henry naps. Under garden care, he wrote, "Check soil first, water lightly, pick only what is needed." Tu Na read it and shook her head. "You make even rest look organized." Alex looked at her calmly. "Because if rest is not written down, work will always erase it." That was the third principle. Do not only plan the work, plan the recovery. In many homes, chores have a time. Cooking has a time. Washing has a time. Deliveries have a time. School has a time. But rest is expected to happen by accident, and when life is busy, accidents do not happen kindly. Tu Na did not suddenly become full of energy. That would not be true. Her tiredness had roots. But over the next few days, the house began to move differently. Alex checked the water jar before leaving. Ba Tong brought over a bundle of soft straw to cover the soil so it would not dry too fast. An older neighbor, Auntie Lan, passed by the gate and saw the small vegetable bed. She leaned on the fence and said, "Too small to sell?" Alex answered, "It is not for selling." Auntie Lan looked toward Tu Na, who was sitting with Henry on the porch. Then she nodded slowly. "Good. Some things should not be sold." The next day, she brought a handful of sweet potato vine cuttings. "These grow easily," she said. "Soft leaves for soup, but don't plant too many." Everyone laughed because that sounded exactly like Alex. The garden became a small meeting place. Not crowded, not noisy. That morning, Henry ate his porridge with fresh young greens chopped so fine they almost disappeared into the rice. He still made a face at first, but then he swallowed. Tu Na laughed. Alex looked at the bowl, then at the garden. The solution had not been only about vegetables. It had been about distance. The distance between kitchen and food, between work and rest, between seeing a problem and admitting what it meant, between loving someone and actually changing something for them. At the company, the pomelo samples were finally ready for the buyer. Alex checked the packaging with Ba Tang. The new boxes had a clean label, a simple farm name, and a small printed line about careful sorting. The fruit sat neatly inside, each one protected from rubbing against the next. Just enough for village warmth to pass through. Ba Tang stopped by after work and showed Alex how to angle the bamboo frame so the pumpkin shoots would climb without blocking the kitchen path. A neighbor's child came to look for worms with Henry. Tu Na began picking a few leaves in the morning, washing them in a small bowl instead of a large basin, and adding them fresh to Henry's porridge. The first sprouts appeared after several days. Henry shouted so loudly that Alex came running from the shed. "Daddy! They woke up!" Tiny green leaves had broken the soil. Tu Na crouched beside Henry. Her face looked softer now, not because all problems were gone, but because one small part of life had started answering back. Then she sat on the porch beside Henry. The porch light turned on, warm against the old wood. In the yard, the new vegetable bed looked small and almost invisible, but Tu Na kept looking at it, maybe because it was the first thing in a long time that had been made not to demand more from her, but to return something to her. The next morning, Henry ran to the kitchen corner before breakfast. "Are my vegetables awake?" Tu Na followed slowly, wrapped in a light sweater. The soil was dark from yesterday's watering. Nothing had sprouted yet, of course, but Henry bent down as if expecting tiny leaves to wave at him. Alex came out holding a cup of hot tea. "Seeds need time," he said. Henry frowned. "How long?" "Longer than you want? Shorter than you think?" Tu Na smiled. Alex's voice was still calm, but there was something firm inside it. Henry looked up from the porch. "Daddy home." Alex smiled at him. "Yes, and today, we are making Henry's little food corner." Henry blinked. "My corner?" "Yes, your vegetables will live near the kitchen." Henry stood up immediately, interested now. Tu Na wiped her hands on her towel. "Alex, really? Not today. You are tired too." Alex looked at her. "I am tired from work," he said. "You are tired from being needed all the time." "It is not the same." Tu Na did not answer. Sometimes the truth does not hurt because it is harsh. It hurts because someone finally says it gently. They walked to the narrow patch beside the kitchen wall. It was not pretty. The soil was hard on top. Dry leaves were gathered in one corner. A broken basket lay under the bamboo poles. The wall blocked some sunlight in the morning, but by noon, light reached the ground for several hours. Alex crouched down and pressed the soil between his fingers. "Not perfect," he said, "but enough." That became the first principle. Do not wait for perfect space. Use the space that makes daily life easier. A garden far away from the kitchen would look bigger, but Tu Na would have to walk there, carry water, cut vegetables, wash them, and come back while watching Henry. That would become another job. A small bed beside the kitchen could give fewer vegetables, but it would save steps every day. And saving steps matters. One step saved in the morning, one bowl washed faster, one handful of leaves picked without leaving the child alone. Small convenience becomes emotional relief when life is already full. Alex moved the old bamboo poles away. Henry helped by carrying dry leaves in his tiny hands, though most of them fell before he reached the basket. Tu Na watched at first, then she joined quietly. She brought a small hoe, a basin, and an old broken clay pot that could still hold soil. Alex did not let the garden become too big. That was important. Many people begin with excitement and make the bed too wide, too long, too demanding. Then after 1 week, the watering becomes tiring. The weeds come. The soil dries. The garden becomes guilt. So Alex measured with his feet. "Only this much," he said, "from here to here. You must be able to reach the middle without stepping inside." Tu Na looked at the small rectangle. "That little?" "That little," Alex said. Henry crouched beside them and asked, "Can pumpkin grow there?" "Maybe not big pumpkin," Alex said, "but pumpkin shoots can." Tu Na smiled for the first time that day without forcing it. They loosened the soil slowly. Under the dry top layer, the earth was darker. It smelled alive after Alex poured a little water over it. The smell rose gently, mixing with the smoke from a neighbor's cooking fire and the faint sweetness of pomelo leaves. Alex added old compost from behind the shed. Not too much. He mixed it with the soil and broke the clumps by hand. Then he made a simple border using reused bamboo pieces. Nothing beautiful, but steady. Nothing expensive, but useful. That was the second principle. Make improvement light enough to keep. A few pumpkin seeds near the edge, where the vines could be guided along a bamboo frame later. Alex showed Tu Na a simple watering rule. In the morning, 1 small dipper. In the late afternoon, only if the soil is dry. Not because we are afraid. Check first. He pressed 1 finger into the soil. If it is still cool underneath, wait. Tu Na nodded. Henry copied him, pressing his finger into the mud. "Cool," Henry announced. Alex and Tu Na both laughed softly. That laugh changed the yard. Not loudly, not completely, but enough. For the first time that day, Tu Na was not alone inside the work. Alex was beside her. Henry was part of it. The house felt less like a place asking from her and more like a place holding her. Before dinner, Alex made another small change. He moved a low stool near the kitchen door and placed a basket beside it. "This is for picking," he said. "No bending too long, no walking back and forth for small things." Tu Na shook her head with a smile. "You think of everything like a factory." Alex looked toward the pomelo boxes stacked near the shed. "No," he said. A factory protects production. A home must protect people. That line stayed in the air. Dinner that evening was simple: rice, egg, a little fish, and soup. Henry ate more than he had in the morning, not much more, but enough to make Tuna's shoulders drop with relief. After dinner, Alex washed the bowls. Tuna tried to stop him. He did not argue. He only took the basin and said, "Tonight, your hands stay dry." She stood there for a moment, holding the towel. Rest is not real if the same work is waiting after the rest. So Alex began thinking differently, not, "How can Tuna try harder?" but, "What can the house change so Tuna does not have to carry so much?" That afternoon, he returned earlier than usual. The sun was still bright. Dust lifted softly from the path when his motorbike entered the yard. Henry was sitting on the porch with a wooden toy, pushing it along the floor. Tuna was washing a basin of vegetables near the water jar. Again, her hands were in cold water. Again, she moved like someone who did not want anyone to worry. Alex parked the motorbike and walked over. "Leave those for a moment," he said. Tuna looked at him. "I'm almost done." "That sentence is the reason you never stop." She looked surprised. "A family does not need a perfect garden to feel change. It needs a garden that survives busy days." Tuna brought seeds she had saved in a small paper packet: amaranth, green onion, coriander, and a few pumpkin seeds from last month's soup. Alex chose only some. Tuna looked at him. "Why not plant all?" "Because if everything grows at once, you will have to manage everything at once." This was a small but important mistake many families make. They confuse abundance with peace. Too many plants can become too much work. Too much work becomes resentment, and resentment can make even good things feel heavy. So they planted in sections. One small row for quick greens, one corner for herbs, one clay pot for green onions. Batang continued. "When my wife was young, she also kept saying she was fine. Fine in the morning, fine at noon, fine while cooking, fine while carrying water. Then one day she fainted near the chicken coop." Alex stayed silent. Batang tapped the pomelo box lightly. "We protect fruit better than we protect people sometimes." That sentence stayed with Alex because it was true. For premium fruit, they had shade nets, sorting cloths, clean boxes, labels, delivery time, careful storage. For Tuna, there was only her own strength, and everyone had been trusting that strength too much. This is where many families make the first mistake. They see a tired person and say, "Rest more," but they do not remove anything from that person's hands. The buyer wants clean skin, same size, no bruises. If this batch passes, the price will be higher. Alex nodded. He lifted one pomelo, turned it slowly, and checked the skin. Usually, his mind became very sharp at work. He could see uneven color, weak stems, small dents, careless wiping marks. But that morning, Henry's voice kept returning. "Mommy, cold." Alex placed the pomelo down. Batang looked at him. "Something wrong with the fruit?" Alex shook his head. "The fruit is fine." But his face said something else. Batang was older than Alex and had known him long enough not to ask too quickly. He waited. After a while, Alex said, "At home, Tuna has been too tired." Batang closed the notebook. "That kind of tiredness is dangerous," he said. Alex looked at him. The morning began before the sun had fully climbed over the pomelo trees. The wooden house was still dim. A little mist rested near the yard, and the path outside the gate was damp from the night air. In the kitchen, the kettle made a soft sound, rising and falling like tired breathing. Tuna stood by the small stove, stirring a pot of vegetable porridge for Henry. There were chopped greens from the market, a little rice, a small piece of pumpkin, and a pinch of salt. Nothing expensive, nothing special. But Tu Na had woken early to make it soft enough for Henry, warm enough for his stomach, and gentle enough for a child who had been eating less these past few days. Henry sat at the low wooden table, his small sandals under the chair, one foot swinging slowly. She turned back to the stove, wiped the side of the bowl with a towel, and said, "Henry woke up twice. Then I washed the vegetables. Then I remembered the clothes outside. I'm fine." That sentence sounded simple, but Alex heard everything inside it. Henry woke up. The vegetables needed washing. The clothes needed bringing in. The house needed keeping. The meals needed cooking. And somewhere between all those small jobs, Tu Na's own body had become the last thing on the list. Many families know this kind of tiredness. It does not arrive like a storm. It arrives quietly. One skipped rest, one cold meal, one more basket carried, one more night waking for the child, until one morning the person who holds the house together is standing in the kitchen with cold hands, pretending it is nothing. Alex stepped closer and touched the back of Tu Na's hand. It was cold, not just from water, not just from the morning air, a deeper cold. "Sit down for a while," Alex said. Tu Na shook her head gently. "You'll be late. The pomelo samples..." "The pomelos can wait 10 minutes." She looked at him. For Alex, that was not a small sentence. He was the kind of man who kept time carefully. If fruit had to be checked at 7, he would be there before 7. If buyers came at noon, the boxes would be stacked before 11. He believed work was respect, but that morning he realized something. Sometimes respect begins by stopping. He took the spoon from Tu Na's hand and sat beside Henry. "Henry," Alex said softly, "is the porridge too hot?" Henry shook his head. "Too salty?" Henry shook his head again. "Does your stomach hurt?" Henry looked at his mother, then down at the bowl. "I don't like the green pieces." Tu Na let out a small breath. She'd been thinking maybe Henry was sick. Maybe she had cooked badly. Maybe she had failed again in some invisible way. Alex stirred the porridge. The vegetable pieces were a little tough. Some leaves were older than they looked. Bought from the market yesterday afternoon, they had already lost sweetness by morning. For adults, it was nothing. For a child, the taste was sharp. Alex looked at Henry, then at Tu Na, and suddenly, 2 problems stood in front of him. Henry was refusing food. Tu Na was exhausted from trying to solve everything alone. At the company, Alex knew how to build systems. When pomelos came in, they were not all thrown into one pile. They were sorted by size, checked for damage, wiped clean, rested in shade, then packed carefully. A good system protected the fruit, protected the workers, and protected the price. But at home, the meals for Henry depended almost entirely on Tu Na waking early, buying whatever vegetables looked acceptable, washing them, cutting them, cooking them, and hoping Henry would eat. That was not care. That was pressure wearing the mask of care. Alex did not say this loudly. He only said, "After I come back today, let's look at the small corner beside the kitchen." Tu Na frowned gently. "For what?" "A small vegetable bed, only for Henry's meals." Tu Na almost laughed, but she was too tired. "Another garden?" "Alex, I already cannot finish everything." "Not a garden for selling," Alex said. "Not a big one. Not another burden, just a small one. Easy to reach, easy to water, enough for clean leaves, soft pumpkin shoots, a few herbs, something that helps you, not something that asks more from you." Tu Na looked toward the side yard. There was a narrow patch of unused soil near the kitchen wall. It held old bamboo poles, a cracked basin, and dry leaves that collected whenever the wind came from the east. She had walked past it every day. She had never thought of it as useful. Henry leaned toward the bowl again, but still did not eat. Alex took a small spoonful, picked out the tougher green pieces, and offered only the soft rice and pumpkin. This time, Henry opened his mouth. Only one spoon. But one spoon was enough to change the feeling in the room. Tuna watched quietly. Her eyes became wet, but she blinked it away. Alex noticed that too. He did not comfort her with big words. He simply pushed the chair closer to her and said, "Sit. Eat 2 spoons first." That was how the change began. Not with a plan drawn on paper, not with money, not with a big speech. With one child refusing breakfast, one cold hand, and one man finally seeing that the house did not need more effort from Tu Na. It needed a better rhythm around her. At the company that morning, Alex stood beside the sorting table checking the premium pomelo samples. Ba Tang was there, holding a notebook, his shirt already damp from the warm air. "These are the best ones," Ba Tang said. When she lifted the spoon again, her fingers trembled slightly. It was not dramatic. It was so small that another person might not notice, but Alex had spent years noticing small signs in fruit, wood, soil, weather, and people. A branch bending too low before rain. A pomelo with one soft spot before it spoiled. A loose gate hinge before it broke. And now, Tu Na's hand. Henry reached forward and touched her fingers. "Mommy, cold." Tu Na stopped for half a second, then she smiled again. "I woke up too early. It's nothing." But Alex saw her face. It was pale, almost colorless in the morning light. He put down his work bag. "Tu Na," he said quietly, "did you sleep last night?" She did not answer right away. That was already an answer. Tu Na scooped a spoonful, blew on it, and smiled. "Just 1 spoon, Henry." Henry looked at the bowl. Then he turned his face away. Tu Na waited. She tried again. Henry shook his head. There was no shouting in the kitchen, no anger, only the small sound of the spoon touching the bowl, and the quiet pressure of a morning that already felt heavy. Alex was near the doorway, buttoning his shirt. He was preparing to go to the company to check the first premium pomelo samples. For days, everyone had been waiting for that batch. The skin had to be smooth, the fruit size had to be even, the box design had to look clean. One careless mistake could lower the price. But at that moment, Alex was not looking at pomelos. He was looking at Tuna's hand. That morning began with one cold hand and one bowl of porridge Henry would not eat, but it taught Alex something he could not forget. A family does not become safer, warmer, or healthier only through big sacrifices. Sometimes it changes through one small garden, one shared chore, one warm cup, one light in a dark corner, and one person finally noticing what another person has been carrying in silence. Because love is not only saying, "I care." Sometimes love is moving the basin higher, planting the greens closer, letting tired hands become warm again, and standing quietly at the door when the light outside turns on.